Hi. Let's see, are we live yet? I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. Okay, not a couple of minutes, couple of seconds, but I think we just linked up live here on Facebook. I am so excited to be back here live in the group with you after being gone for a week. Actually, I was gone for almost 10 days. On my Paris vacation. I know I've shared some of the photos here. I was on my anniversary, my 10-year wedding anniversary. My husband and I had an amazing, amazing, decadent time. And I shared with you before I left that same day, I believe, that we were going to the airport. I shared with you how that trip was part of a vision that I had been manifesting for a really long time. And I had challenged you at that point to speak out into the universe what it is that you wanted to manifest, whether it was a decadent vacation like that or something else. And so some of you shared that, and I would love to hear an update from you. So you can share it here in this thread or over on the other one. But today's topic is one that I'm really excited to talk about, and that I actually have brought a little reading material with me to share with you as well. Hi, Daniela. Someone else is on, but I can't see the name. When you come on, say hello in the comments. That's the only way that I can see you. So let's jump right in. Today's topic is riding the waves of life. Do you surf those waves or do you sink, right? Do you surf or do you sink? So it's kind of self-explanatory what we're talking about, right? Life is full of ebb and flow. That's pretty much what life is made up of, right? It's never just even. And it's not always up and it's not always down, right? Things are coming at you from the left, the right, underneath. So how you are able to ride those waves in life is really what makes all the difference. Okay, so I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Thinking, of course, metaphorically speaking, are you a surfer or are you a sinker? And you can answer that question by looking at how you respond to things that happen in your life that you don't expect. Things that you don't like, things that take you by surprise, catch you off guard. How do you react? Are you always in reactionary mode, or have you been practicing, have you been taking surfing lessons so that when those waves come, you're already expecting waves? And even if you get pummeled sometimes and fall off, most of the time, because you've strengthened your body, your mind, your spirit, you're able to ride the waves. You're able to soften your knees, sit into your core, breathe, and ride it out. Or do you just fall off? Do you give up? Do you get frightened? Do you get overcome with fear? How are you typically responding to the waves in your life? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, have you ever heard of Eckhart Tolle? I'm sure you have. He's written The Power of Now. This book is Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. This is one of my books that has, like, if I showed you the inside, look, you'll see a bunch of writing, green highlights. I've had this book for, I don't know, 2008 is when I first read this book. On the inside, I have June 2008, my birthday gift to myself, the self that is aware, the observer, and the watcher. Okay, so we're talking on the higher self level today. So yesterday, when I sat down here in my office, I'm at my my home in Wilmington, Delaware on the East Coast to be back here with family, and this is my home office. So in the morning, I throw down my yoga mat and I have a little pillow, one of those meditation pillows that I sit on, and I always grab one of my books. I always have books surrounding me, and I grabbed this book and I turned it to a page that was just so perfect for today's topic, which I already had planned. I was already going to talk about how we ride the ebbs and flows in our life. And this just happened to be the page that I turned to. So I want to share it with you. It's not often that I take time to read something to you, but please permit me to do that. So this is titled Not Minding What Happens. And this fits perfectly. So Krishnamurti, the great Indian philosopher and spiritual teacher, spoke and traveled almost continuously all over the world for more than 50 years, attempting to convey through words that which is beyond words. At one of his talks in the later part of his life, he surprised his audience by asking, "Do you want to know my secret?" Everyone became alert. Many people in the audience had been coming to listen to him for 20 or 30 years and still failed to grasp the essence of his teaching. Finally, after all these years, the master would give them the key to understanding. "This is my secret," he said. "I don't mind what happens. I don't mind what happens." And he didn't elaborate. It goes on to say that he didn't elaborate. And then Eckhart Tolle goes on to explain some of this. And here's what's so beautiful. Let these words sink into you and see how much you mind what happens in your life or don't mind. When I don't mind what happens, what does this imply? It implies that internally I am in alignment with what happens. What happens, of course, refers to the suchness of this moment, which already is as it is, right? So to be in alignment with what is, what's happening, no matter what, right? Because we can't control it most of the time. When you're in alignment with that, it means you're in relationship of inner non-resistance. You're not resistant to whatever is going on. So it means you're not labeling it good or bad. How often do we label things good or bad? This happened today, so it was a bad day. This happened today, so it was a good day. I've got this much money today, so I'm happy. I don't have enough money today, so I'm not happy, right? Everything seems to be good, bad, black, white. And what we learned from this philosopher and from Eckhart Tolle and from most spiritual guides is that true happiness comes from not minding what happens, to not being at the mercy of things going your way or not going your way. This, to me, speaks perfectly to this idea of being able to ride the waves, right? Knowing that sometimes you're going to have big waves, sometimes you're going to have small waves, sometimes it's going to be flat, right? But how exciting is the sea when it's always flat? It's not always flat, right? Whether it's waves or it's wind, something is going to be going on at some point. And how we respond, how we react makes all the difference. Physically, literally, if we're on that board, do we stiffen up? If we do, we fall off, right? Do we panic? If we do, we go down, right? The way that we react has everything to do with how we then end up feeling, what ends up being the domino effect, right? But if we soften to it, if we are able to breathe through it, then we can ride it out and it's over, right? So I think about even the time that I actually first learned how to surf, right? And at first you are, and I don't surf regularly, but I'm just thinking of an example. At first, you're just, even though they put you on those small waves at first, when it comes, and they tell you, soften your knees and all that, you get really stiff and you fall over, right? But when you keep getting back on that board and you practice being prepared and you practice what to do, how to ride it out. It's never about tensing up. It's never about reacting, getting angry, trying to change the wave, which you can't do, right? It's about going with the flow. riding out the contrast, right? So when things happen in your life, that you don't like or that you judge, what do you then do? What happens when you judge it? If you automatically judge something as being a bad experience, your feelings then follow that. Tony Robbins says you go to your feelings. Your feelings don't come first. You actually create feelings based off of what you focus on. So if something happens today, think about your day today. Did something happen in your day that made you automatically say, oh, this is a bad day? Or this isn't, it turned into you going into anger or fear or depression or sadness, right? You chose that feeling based off of what you chose to think about. Imagine if you didn't mind what happened. Imagine if you weren't constantly in reaction mode. Imagine if whatever happened, you took a deep breath, softened your knees, softened your core, and wrote it out. So not minding what happens, riding the waves of life, means not really labeling something as good or bad, but just letting it be. Now, I love this final paragraph about this point. He says, does this mean you can no longer take action to bring about change in your life? On the contrary, when the basis for your actions is inner alignment with the present moment, your actions become empowered by the intelligence of life itself. That is so beautiful to me. Basically, he's saying, it doesn't mean that you just say, oh, well, whatever happens, happens, kind of, but it doesn't mean that you don't take action and that you don't take responsibility for how you're thinking and what you're doing and how you're reacting. On the contrary, he says, if your basis for life is to not mind what happens, if your basis for life, if your goal is just to find alignment regardless, what he's saying here is that your actions become empowered by the intelligence of life itself. This is what I normally use in my languaging when I say, or this is what I typically mean when I say, the universe will start to conspire in your favor. The universe will conspire in your favor. When you get in alignment, when you focus on the vision of what you want, as opposed to focusing on the things that you don't want, right? When you get into that vision and say you're holding that vision for a certain something that you want in life, or a lifestyle, or a lover, or something like that, you're still not attached to it. You have that vision. You're not focused on the absence of it, which is going to pull you into reactionary mode and negative emotion, right? Based on your thoughts. You're holding that beautiful vision, and whatever's happening in the meantime, you're ebbing and flowing with it. You're surfing, you're riding the waves. You're not being in constant reactionary mode to, oh, it's not happening, or it's not happening fast enough, or this happened, or this person did this, right? When your intention is to be in alignment and your intention is to hold the vision of what it is that you desire, the universe can't help but to line up for you. This is you purposely, intentionally becoming a co-creator with the universe. Who's resonating with this? Let me know right now, because I know it is a little esoteric, but I'm hoping some of this is giving you something to really think about. Riding the waves. Danielle, I love that you have been taking surf lessons, right? How appropriate is that when you think about this, right? So I want to share just a couple examples, right? So that we can put this into practical sense for you. So I wrote a couple notes here. Many of you in here are first-time business owners or wannabe entrepreneurs, right? I think about myself when I first started my first business, or even when I started this new business, right? in the beginning, I'm not making any profit, right? I don't have any clients, right? And then maybe you get clients or you start making money and then you don't have any, right? The way that you deal with that, the way that you react to that, the way that you judge it or don't judge it, label it or don't label it, that in and of itself, your reaction, your judgment of it, is what then leads to what comes next. That's what triggers the energy that follows. Does that make sense to you? So if my reaction when, say, money is not flowing in or clients are not flowing in, if my reaction is to tighten up, to stiffen, to get fearful, to get angry, to be blaming, to be jealous, all of those things, then what happens? I fall off the surfboard, right? It doesn't mean I can't get back up, but I'm making it harder on myself, right? If instead, in those moments, I'm staying blessed, I'm staying grateful, I'm focusing on the vision, I'm not minding what happens, because I know that it's all a journey. And I know that when I hold my vision, law of attraction, and I keep my languaging and my thoughts focused on that, I know that it's all working out for me. Because guess what? Our responsibility is the vision, not how the vision is going to happen, not when it's going to happen. That is up to the universe. That's God. That's the angels. That's all of the things that we can't control. And here's the beauty of that. Our minds are so limited. I'm a mindset coach, but here's the truth. Our minds are very limited. We know that we only access a very small percentage. So if I'm just relying on me, my mind, my limited mind, to decide on when something should happen or how it should happen, then I'm really robbing myself of what could be an even more fruitful experience, because the universe knows best. The universe knows best. So when things are going on or coming up, I'm just riding, right? Can you just ride the wave? Can you ride the waves and not mind? Can you not mind what happens? Answer that question. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Does that give you anxiety thinking about just taking whatever comes and riding that wave, not being in reaction mode all the time? Because here's what happens. If you're in reaction mode, meaning you only feel happy when things are going your way, or, I only feel abundant when money is constantly flowing, right? If that's the case, then you've given away all your control. You've given away control of your spirit, control of your joy, because you get to choose at any given moment how you want to feel. Guess what? You've got to feel abundant first before you can attract abundance to you. Guess what? You've got to feel confident first before you can become more confident. You've got to make the decision for those things. It can't be when things are going my way or when someone is nice to me, I'm happy, and when someone is mean to me, I'm not happy. It doesn't mean we can't have feeling and emotion, but as adults, we also get to choose. I'm even teaching this to my daughter. She gets to choose how long she wants to feel an emotion, if that emotion is even supporting her, right? So often we don't even check in with ourselves. We're just in reaction mode. So this is the point of this message today, is that life is full of waves. Life is full of ebbs and flows, no matter what. Don't get caught up in thinking, buying into the social media idea that somebody's life is so perfect and without any ebb and flow. No matter how successful a person is, no matter how beautiful, no matter how wealthy, none of that means that that person isn't going through ebbs and flows. We all do. But when you see somebody who's truly joyful and abundant, not just making money, because that's not what abundance is all about, but when you see somebody who is truly, and you know it, when somebody is truly happy, abundant, prosperous, and is in it is in it for all the right reasons, the difference between that person and somebody else who seems to be completely on the opposite end is how that person rides the waves, how that person ebbs and flows, what they use all their time focusing on or not focusing on, right? So the beautiful thing is that we're going to be talking about some of this in my free week-long masterclass that's coming up. It starts on Monday. You're going to learn from me and 17 other experts that I brought in exactly on how you can use law of attraction in your life to actually help you surf those waves, right? To get really skillful. Everything is a skill. Even the way you think is a skill. It's a habit. You can change any habit. It's difficult to change yourself, but it's really easy to change a habit. It's much easier to change a habit. So here's what I want you to do. If this topic resonates with you, if you feel like you've been struggling and you really need a shift in how you're approaching the goals that you set, how you are approaching and reacting in your life to people, if you feel that you're constantly struggling, sign up for this free masterclass. This is really one of my favorite masterclasses, one of my favorite topics to talk about, and the people that I'm interviewing and have brought on for this, top notch. So click practicalmanifestor.com. Let me know in the comments once you're signed up so that I know you're coming, and post here in the comments anything that comes up for you around this topic. This is a great conversational piece, okay? I'm going to scroll through really quickly and see if I can read some of the comments and see if anybody has any. Oh, it doesn't let me see them all. Perfect. Okay, so I see Daniela, Akila, you're on here. I can't see anybody else right now because it's only showing me in real time. I will be back on to check out some of the comments later. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to sign up for practicalmanifestor.com. And I will see you on Thursday right here live, but I'd love to see you on Monday in the masterclass. So sign up and share it with all your friends. You know that almost everybody out there needs this content. So share it, share it, share it, share it, and ride the waves. Surf those waves, keep practicing, you'll get better. I think about the first time I got on a surfboard, woo, and now I can get on and stay on. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.